The work that Danny and Frank have done at Q is fantastic. We've been so amazed at the ways in which they've really integrated video games into their curriculum.
When we first started working with video games and students, it seemed to be that they were just an interesting. It wasn't seen as a really academic, rigorous area to pursue. It wasn't seen as valuable by other teachers. And that's changed over the years.
At Q, the students have investigated games and they've looked at what are the values that the games have. How are the games constructed? What are the colours in the games? What are the ways that the game designer makes us feel or experience certain things?
Rather than game makers, they would be game designers, specifically for front covers of games, fictitious games. And so the kids were given an outline of a fictitious game to do with bullying, and they were basically the graphic designer, I suppose, photographer, production designer.
From my video game, my storyboard, I focused on peer pressure. I did all the different sort of levels and the sort of situations that people might be put into and how that they could deal with those.
My game is based around food, and because food is such an important part of our lives and it applies to everyone, I really wanted to emphasise the importance of healthy eating.
So we want to show to kids how whaling impacts their survivability and how much whaling happens each year.
The last level of the game was going to be from the whale's point of view, and the idea was trying to show how it can be a traumatizing experience for the animals being hunted down, so you'd have to avoid the harpoons and try and survive.
It's all about creativity, it's all about group work, communication, design. So even though what they were doing was using technology, it was still those basic elements that they were being assessed on as well.
It was important for us, for the people involved in the project, to look at the whole ecology of video games, not just the experience of gameplay or how to technically use programs like Game Maker. It was to open up the whole issue and look at its effects on society or its perceived effects, and to critique what the narratives are, because that's another really interesting thing, particularly from a media studies perspective.
And so a lot of the work at Q has been to think about what is the place of video games in our society.
We discussed about violent video games and how it's affecting our health and mindset.
So the ratings of games I thought were very interesting because MA15 games were very violent, but still anyone over 15 could buy them. And obviously little kids, older brothers or sisters and parents, they buy them for them without actually realising the content of it, which is quite graphic if you ever played them. And I think I do agree with that. It does desensitise kids a little bit from the violence.